Good evening, everyone. My name is Gene Marabito. I'm Mayor of the City of Glendora, and on behalf of our entire City Council, who I'll introduce in a moment here, I want to welcome you to tonight's presentation ceremony. We hold these events quarterly, and it gives us an opportunity to recognize individuals and groups in our community who have contributed so much through their services to our community. One thing just to note that tonight's presentation, you can view it later on the city's website by going to our media center. So if your family or friends want to view it at some point in time or you want to see yourself again, just log on and it's there. We watch it all the time. So. Also, you're more than welcome to take pictures throughout the event and after the event if you want to come up and take pictures of any of my council members or myself. I've never known them to turn down a photo op, so we'll be available. I want to take a moment now to introduce members of the city that are here. City council members with me this evening. I have Mayor Pro Tem Gary Boyer, Councilwomen Karen Davis and Judy Nelson, and Councilmember Mendel Thompson. Our first group of recipients this evening are appreciation awards. And these are chosen by members of Glendora's Beautification Nomination Panel to recognize outstanding residential and commercial properties in categories such as landscaping, renovation, overall appearance. Our panel, the Beautification Panel members, are asked to submit nominations and properties for which they believe fit the criteria of being well-maintained and demonstrate pride in their neighborhood. Residents of the community can also nominate their neighbors whom they believe have made some impressive improvements to their properties to help with their neighborhood. Before we present the awards, I'd like to introduce members of the committee themselves. Joe Battaglia, I know Joe is here. Matt Bartlett in the back. I didn't see Jack. Is Jack Evanella here yet? Okay. And Daniel Collins, who I don't believe is here this evening either. Thank you for all the work that you do and the time that you put into this program. Without your efforts, it wouldn't be possible. So thank you to all of the members of the board. And thank you to all of the people that we're going to recognize here in a moment for your efforts in making Glendora such a welcoming community. As I call your name, we'll put up a slide of your property. So when I call your name, please come forward. First awardee tonight is the Acuna residence on Juanita Avenue. Thank you. Thank you. Do you want to say a few words? Do you want to? Thank you. I will also give you an opportunity to brag about your property if you'd like. Hold on. Yeah. Thank you. Yeah, thank you so much. Matt, you have to be a little bit quicker. Our next, Blackman residence on Glendora Avenue. How about the Diaz residence on Glencroft? Downing residence on Gent Street. Here we go. Espinoza residence on Larkspur Avenue, on Larkspur Lane, I'm sorry.
Thank you very much.
No, not
You sure? Okay.
I'm not too much of us.
I don't blame you. Next, we have the Fuentes residence on Linfield Street. Martinez residence on Vecina. McAllister residence on Rimhurst. McClendon residence on Jennifer Avenue. There we go.
Thank you
Very
very much.
nice.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Fortissimo.
Very nice. The Tafoya residence on Dual. Vasquez residence on Glencroft. And the Williams residence on Wabash. I want to say congratulations and thank you again to all the participants in it. It goes a long way to showing pride of the foothills. It goes a long way to showing what a great community Glendora is. So let's give them all a big round of applause. And I just want to mention our beautification nomination panel, they are always looking for members to join and help. And so if you have an interest, please contact our city manager's office and Sonia will direct you to the right person if you'd like to apply for that committee. Our second set of awards this evening are presented to community groups and individuals and to recognize them for their contributions to our community. Our first individual this evening may be best recognized for having a great deal of compassion, patience, and certainly acquired wisdom. In the late 1970s, as a 30-year-old single man, this gentleman completed the required orientation and training through the Los Angeles County Department of Children and Family Services, and soon became a foster parent, helping troubled teenage boys who are most often difficult to place in homes. Today, some 40 years later, Glendora resident Randy Scarf has fostered over 50 children. He has adopted 7 during that time frame and has been a legal guardian for many more. Today, at the age of 70, Randy still has 5 boys, ages 12 to 21, who are under his care. We first learned about Randy from a recent article in the San Gabriel Valley Tribune and wanted to acknowledge his spirit of benevolence, compassion, and generosity. And I'd like to invite Brian Miller, from the Department of Child and Family Services to come up and say a few words about the program and about Randy. Brian?
Thank you. Earlier this week, we were reminded that we share an age-old and universal common responsibility, and that is to make and leave this world a better place for our children. I'd like to encourage everybody, that oftentimes seems like a very overwhelming task. I know especially in my position where I unfortunately read and come in contact with cases and situations that sometimes seem very heavy and very depressing. But I do want to remind everybody here and encourage everyone here with the words of Garrison Keillor, who once said, "Nothing you do for children is ever wasted." So whether you are a leader of perhaps a brownie troop, or whether you become a foster parent, adoptive parent, legal guardian to a youth who is in need of permanency, we do make a difference in what we do for our children. So I do want to encourage you. For anyone perhaps interested in learning more about how you might be able to make a difference in the life of a child or children, or 50 children maybe, no. It amazes me. I have to be honest, if he would have, if Mr. Scarf would have fostered and adopted that first child and stopped there, he would have made a major impact in the life of that son, of his now wife and grandson. And that itself would have been something to recognize. But the fact that he's gone on and has never, when the going gets tough, he's not given up. He's continued to recognize that there are kids in need, and he continues to step up and to help. And as mentioned, he still has 5 youth, 3 of whom I actually know, but 5 youth in his home now. And my guess is he'll be doing this for a little while longer anyway. So with that said, if you do, I did start to say, if you want to learn more, see me afterwards. I do have some pamphlets, pens, some things you can take with you. They all have our number on them, and you can call and learn more about starting the process that Mr. Scarf started some 40 years ago. So thank you.
Now please join me in recognizing Mr. Randy Scarf. Randy. I want to read a certificate that we're presenting Mr. Scarf with this evening. In recognition of your 40-year commitment to being a foster parent, providing a loving home to over 50 young men, we applaud your compassion and care. Presented July 27, 2016 by the Glendora City Council. Mr. Scarf, thank you so much.
Thank you. Well, I've been in Glendora forever. We moved here in 1958. I worked at your post office for 26 years. And my mother was an employee at City Hall. She was a cashier for almost 20 years. When I got into adoption, I went to a meeting and they told us all about what kind of kids are available, and we had to go to several training sessions to make sure that this was something we were going to do. I got an approved home study, and they said, okay, it's going to take at least 6 months before we'll place a kid with you. Well, I was at the post office working, and I got a phone call from my social worker saying, this was 3 weeks after I graduated, we've got a kid. He's coming in from Denver at LAX, and we want you to come pick him up. Larry got off the plane, into my car, moved into my house, and that was 40 years ago. He's 53 years old now. He's married. He's got 2 beautiful daughters. One's 30 and the other one's 28. And that was the start of my journey. Larry was a perfect kid, an A and B student, wanted to be a football player. He didn't do drugs, didn't smoke. And I thought, gosh, this is easy. Let's do it again. I've got another bedroom. My next kid wasn't easy. But I learned how to deal with these kids. And it's been an ongoing process. I have 7 adopted kids. The oldest is 53, the youngest is 21. I have 8 grandkids because of this. Larry is always reminding me that if it wasn't for me adopting him, his 2 daughters wouldn't be here today. And he really appreciates the adoption, and I appreciate him. I really encourage people to get involved with LA County Kids. There's so many kids out there. I get a phone call at least once a month, a social worker wanting to put a kid in my house. And I'm at my limit right now. I can't take any more. But I would really, if there's somebody out here that thinks they have it in their heart to do it, I would really encourage you. Like I told LA County Board of Supervisors last week, you don't have to be rich. You don't have to be young. And because I'm neither of those. So It's really something that will make your life fulfilled to get involved in the life of a young child. Thank you.
What an incredible, beautiful story. Thank you, Randy. Our next group of awardees, these are the top 3 winners of our Glendora Urban Trails System logo contest. The Glendora Community Service Department, in partnership with the Glendora Community Services Foundation, recently sponsored a contest to design a logo for our new Glendora Urban Trail System. The trail is located adjacent to the San Dimas Wash, beginning at Grand Avenue and concluding at Louis Pompey Memorial Sports Park. It stretches to a distance of approximately 3 miles. This logo that you'll see this evening will be used throughout the trails at various entrance points and will be used on all marketing material associated with the trail. In May, the Community Services Foundation reviewed over 30 entries and recommended the top 6 choices. Then it was up to the Community Services Commission to select the first, second, and third place winners. I've got members of the Community Services Commission and the Community Services Foundation up here with me, and so now we're going to announce the 3 top winners of this contest. Third place is by Sophie Dysart. Now, I happen to know, and the Dysarts can't be with us this evening, but I happen to know that Sophie may have had a little bit of help with her design. The reason for that is 8-year-old labs, while certainly being creative, have difficulty focusing. And anybody who's had a lab can tell you that. The Dysarts submitted this logo under Sophie's name. But their message that they wanted to convey is something, their logo design is that our trail system really is something that can be enjoyed by the entire family. I know that my dogs, like Sophie, will probably enjoy this trail system as much as my wife and I do. So let's give the Dysart family a big round of applause for third place. Second place goes to Deborah Lovitt. Deborah? Very nice. Can I get you to say a few words about your design and tell us how you came about it?
Oh my goodness, I wasn't expecting this. All right, we've been residents of Glendora for 16 years, and when I think of Glendora Avenue, and I think of the trees. So I wanted to incorporate the trees and a family hiking, and with the foothills in the background. So that's basically how I came up with my design. So, thank you.
And our first place winner, Charity Capelli. Charity? Did I pronounce that right? Awesome. And here's your opportunity.
Okay. Hello. Wasn't expecting this. I've been a resident of Glendora since I was 5, and I've worked here, gone to school here, and I wanted to really just encapsulate something simple. Knowing and being on trails a lot, you're basically passing by this sign very quickly. And so I just wanted to keep it very simple for the most part and help people not get lost. That's the main objective. And so I wanted to just kind of introduce that, and the foothills, it's undeniable how beautiful it is, and we're really lucky to live in Glendora. where there's gumdrop trees, and it's like a movie. So thank you.
Thank you. And I want to thank everyone that participated and submitted an entry to the contest. They're all worthy designs. We appreciate your talents and the hours that you put into creating the artwork. Our next group this evening, and they're sitting up here very patiently, very quietly, is Girl Scout Troop 16084. Under the guidance of their troop leaders, Stephanie Arnold and Melinda Stone, this next troop of 23 second grade Girl Scout brownies wanted to help sponsor a tea party for seniors in our community, using proceeds from their cookie sales. Girl Scout Brownie Troop 16084 attended the Mother's Day Tea and Fashion Show at LaFetra Senior Center this past May. They were proud to present a check for $500 to partners of LaFetra, but it doesn't stop there. They have also made contributions to the local animal shelter, planted a tree at Finkbinder Park, and donated a bird feeder to a local plant nursery. These young ladies are learning at an early age how to get involved, give back to their communities. Your thoughtfulness and service are what make Glendora pride of the foothills, and we thank you for that. Can we have all of them up here?
Well, I'm proud of our Girl Scouts. I have lived in Glendora almost my whole life, and once my daughter, which is up here, Jessica, she's in the back, once she turned of age to be a Girl Scout, I became a Girl Scout leader, and it's thrilling to see the joy and the thoughtfulness and the caring and just trying to make the world a better place. That's truly one of the goals of these girls, so thank you. So you want something to say? No?
These girls are absolutely delightful. When we talked with them about their donation, you know, most people don't realize that they can take that cookie sales money and they can have a party, they can go on an outing, but they were truly selfless in wanting to give back. Thank you very much, girls.
And it's our honor this evening to present you with the certificate of recognition. Let me just read it for a second. To Girl Scout Brownie Troop 16084, in recognition of your generous donation to help sponsor the annual Mother's Day Tea at the LaFetra Center. Thank you. Presented today from the Glendora City Council. So thank you so much. Another example of service to our adult community is Kevin Cave. Come on up, Kevin. As part of the Eagle Scout project, Kevin Cave of Venture Crew 491 wanted to do something to benefit seniors in our community. So Kevin started a fundraiser called Support Our Senior Citizens, or SOSC, and organized a team of scouts to collect new and gently used books, tapes, DVDs, and board games. In addition, Kevin solicited the assistance from several businesses to be a drop-off center with a collection box for these items. Kevin and his troop collected over 3,000 items during a 2-month period, which were delivered then to LaFetra Center and 2 senior apartment complexes in Glendora. On behalf of our entire city council, and actually the entire Glendora community, we say thank you, Kevin, for providing countless hours of enjoyment for our seniors and our adults in our community. Thank you so much.
How's everyone doing tonight? I'm just really honored to be up here and to be supported by my family, my girlfriend, and my adventure crew leader and his family. And you know, I love this community. A lot of my generation calls it Glendora, but I honestly just have to say it's amazing. It's the community outreach that we had was perfect, and the books and the games and everything just came flooding in. So just want to thank the community for a very successful project, and just thank you for all the support.
I want to thank Kevin, and then I also want to just comment that the name Glendora, boredom, that's been around for at least 40-some years, so some things don't change. Our next group, and this is always one of the most treasured ones throughout this presentation, is honoring the military who have finished their tour of duty. So now I'd like to call up representatives from Project Glendora Yellow Ribbon, who will recognize Glendora's military men and women who have finished their tour of duty. Kathleen Gonzales, Pam Cohn, and Kath Howarth. Kath, come forward.
It really is a pleasure and an honor to be here this evening, and I'm glad you could share this moment with us to welcome our heroes back home. It's very emotional. I love happy endings, and this is as good as it gets. All right, we're going to move on to the reason that we're here this evening, and that is to honor our returning heroes. I think we have a special presentation which was put together by Kathleen and her son, which will introduce our heroes, and then after that, we'll bring them up. Every coin has two sides. There's the sobering side you just saw, but there's also the joyous side, and that's what we're celebrating tonight, is the return of our heroes. So as I announce their names, hopefully all could be here this evening. Sometimes they can't, but that's not because they don't care. It's because they've gone on to their new employment or moved away. But know this, they do appreciate your support as a community. So our first recipient for Retired Banner this evening, Eric Amato, United States Air Force.
First of all, speeches really aren't my thing, but I do want to say thank you everyone for being out here. It does feel good to be home. I did 5 years active duty in the Air Force. I was stationed at McConnell Air Force Base in Wichita, Kansas. I had 2 tours overseas to Qatar, also known as Qatar, which is just below Kuwait, in between Iraq and Afghanistan. Both were just under 5 months. The hardest part was being away from family. No matter how hot, 122 degrees it may be, family was definitely the hardest thing to be away from. Even though I separated from active duty orders in June 20th of this year, I actually re-enlisted on June 21st to March Air Force Base in the Air National Guard. I did that to stay local. I was ready to be back home, so I was ready to give up active duty orders, but I wasn't really ready to stop wearing the uniform. So, again, thank you very much. This does mean a lot, so thank you.
Our second hero for this evening is Matthew Gonzales, United States Army. Is Matthew here this evening, or representative? Matthew, if you're watching this, we love you. Wish you could have been here this evening, but appreciate you. And then our third honoree this evening, Peter Szczepanski, Army National Guard.
Well, Mr. Mayor, ladies and gentlemen of the City Council, ladies from the Yellow Ribbon, thank you, and citizens of Glendora. I started 34 years and 8 months ago, military service. That was long enough ago that soldiers were not as appreciated as we often are today after 2 wars and a lot of threats to America and our freedoms. The only thing I have exception to is you referred to us as heroes a couple times. I'm no hero. The heroes are the ones that did not come back, who made the supreme sacrifice for our freedoms. It's been my privilege and my pleasure to have a military career to defend this great republic and this fair city of Glendora. Thank you.
Thank you to all that have served. It's such an honor to be up here and to be able to celebrate their coming home, but celebrate all that have served us so proudly. That concludes our presentations for this evening. And again, I want to thank all of you for being here, but I want to thank all those that have received the recognitions tonight, because it's your service, your commitment to our community that makes Glendora such a beautiful place to live. So thank you all so very much. Good evening.